guys, welcome back again to the wonderful world of Randy and Randy's fantastic collection of stuff. Stuff you wouldn't believe, not just arcade stuff, amusement park memorabilia, Americana. I got it. Nobody can touch the stuff that I've got in my collection because I'm living it. It's the living the dream. I have it all because I saw the value in it because I wanted to save my childhood. And another piece we're going to feature right now is the Walt Disney World guest room hotel map. Here it is. This beautiful map of Walt Disney World was in each guest room of only the Contemporary Resort Hotel and the Polynesian Village. Possibly when they opened the golf resort, some of the rooms got them there also, but that would have been towards the tail end. In the beginning, when they opened Walt Disney World in Florida in October of 1971, there were only two resort hotels. The Contemporary Resort Hotel, which was the giant A-frame structure with the surrounding bayside wings of the north wings and south wings, was a 15-story A-frame structure. Between the wings and the Contemporary towers itself, there were 1,071 rooms. The Polynesian Village, down over here, was the second hotel that Walt Disney World had, and they had about 800 some odd rooms. Together, between the Contemporary and the Polynesian, that makes about 2,000 guest hotel rooms before they built the golf resort, which later became Shades of Green. Each room was designed to have one of these giant wall maps that was the iconic thing within the guest room. Well, I remember when my family would stay at the Contemporary, we were enamored with this beautiful wall map. And each time we had to go home after a vacation, we'd say, I wonder, can we take it home with us? Well, clearly, how are you going to take it home with you? You're not going to stick it in your suitcase and get away with that. I think somebody would miss it, missing off the wall because it was firmly attached. So it was not something you could ever really acquire, but you dreamed of it. Years later, when I was working at Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom, they were redoing the hotel rooms at the Contemporary Resort. And during the remodeling of the hotel rooms, they decided they were going to do away with these wonderful maps. And they pulled them off the walls, and most of them did not survive. It was made of a type of masonite with a very brittle finish on top of it, almost like a formica. And you can see there's a little chip here in the corner. And it sat in a silver frame that was very thin that went all the way around it on the wall. Very few made it without breaking in half when contractors pulled them off the walls. So they were being sold over property control. And I bought some, and many people bought some that were there. How many survived? I don't think that many. But I was thrilled that I got it. And here it is. And why would they take something like this off the wall? It just says I'm at Disney World when you see this. But there was a very good reason. Because they built the maps to go along with the future plans and the development of Walt Disney World, and the maps were built incorrectly because they didn't do many of the things that appear on the map. Clearly, we have the Contemporary Resort. That's obvious. But what is this hotel up top here? Well, there's no hotel up there. As a matter of fact, this is the spur line that goes from the Magic Kingdom, and off of the monorail round circle, it goes off, and the spur line is there. But back here is actually the roundhouse where they park the monorails at night, and on the first floor, below the monorail parking, is where they park the steam trains. So there's certainly no hotel back there. Apparently, they were planning on building one before you got to the far back where the roundhouse was, because the roundhouse would actually be back further here. But they never built this hotel. I can't imagine them actually building it not connected with the monorail like this, because they're not going to open and close that switch all the time to send a monorail of guests over to that hotel. So that hotel was never built. Over here, you have Treasure Island. But Treasure Island became Discovery Island, and today the island still exists, but there is no activity at that island, certainly no ship pulling up there. So it became in date and then became out of date. In this cove over here by Fort Wilderness, you had river country, which came and was a big deal and is long since gone. So again, the map is out of date. There is no Wilderness Lodge over in Fort Wilderness, and Fort Wilderness is only showing a small little area here, which of course became much larger. Here is the airport where Disney would fly in and land on his private runway. Well, the runway is still there, but that's certainly not something they ever use anymore. Maybe in an emergency. I don't even know if it's usable the way you have to keep up a runway so it's quite smooth. Here's another hotel that was never built. This is that patch of land between the Contemporary and the Transportation and Ticket Center. They never built a hotel there. Doesn't mean they couldn't. Right next to the waterway tunnel. This is the tunnel that goes under the water. They call it a water bridge. The bridge is actually going over the roadway, but it's more of a tunnel the way I look at engineering goes. But this hotel was never built. Rumor had it that the land in this area was not stable enough to build a hotel. So maybe they'll do that someday in the future if the land becomes stable or if they're able to send pilings down there far enough to make it stable. But the rumor was they couldn't build a hotel there because of land stability. Over here, of course, you have the Transportation Ticket Center and you have the Polynesian Village Resort. But what is this over here? Why, this certainly looks very, very Asian, but that's the Grand Floridian. So they never built this hotel, they built a Grand Floridian instead. So the maps no longer represented what Walt Disney World was going to be. As glamorous and wonderful as they are, they're no longer accurate. Even the Magic Kingdom itself, which when these maps were built, there was only the Magic Kingdom. There was no Epcot, which didn't open until 1982. Where is Space Mountain? There is no Space Mountain. Well, how could that be? That's a big attraction. It's not there. Over here, where is the Pirates of the Caribbean? Why, they don't exist. How could that be? Yet, here's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, which opened after the Pirates of the Caribbean. So they knew what they were going to be planning, but yet it didn't make it on the map. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is still over here in Fantasyland. We know that's long gone. So things changed and the maps no longer applied to what things were. Here's that beautiful castle hub. Look at this. You know what that is? That's the swan boats. I bet most of you viewers out there never even heard of the swan boats. The swan boats was a ride. It had a landing right about here between the two bridges that go to Tomorrowland. And there was a landing where you got on the boat. It was a boat similar to the Jungle Cruise, but it had a giant static swan on the front of it. And it was a tranquil cruise that worked through the waterways that went around the Magic Kingdom's center hub. That waterway actually goes underneath Main Street, USA. There's an actual bridge that goes over the waterway, and it goes over here towards the Crystal Palace. The water actually does continue and connect over by the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse and the Jungle Cruise. The water actually connects, but the pathway for the swan boats did not take that spur, would turn, go past Liberty Square's bridge, past the front of Cinderella Castle, and come around again, making a full circle trip to the landing, and it was a very pleasant ride. The swan boats were discontinued rather early on. It was the first attraction that I remember that was removed from the Magic Kingdom. So here we have one of the dreams come true from a kid staying at the Contemporary Resort Hotel when I was there in the beginning, and they got to take home the wall map. And right down in the bottom here, it says Walt Disney Productions. When Walt Disney was still a company based upon what they produced for family entertainment. Later, they changed the name to the Walt Disney Company, so you don't see stamps that say Walt Disney Productions for decades. It's Walt Disney Company, not Walt Disney Productions. But this is from another era. This is from the time when magic was all they produced, and It certainly stuck with me all the years. I've heard that there's some companies that are making remakes of these maps today. They're smaller for people who remember them and want to have them on their wall. And they're pretty pricey for a remake, but here's the original and in all its glory. And believe me when I tell you, it's not the only one I have. I have one on my wall in my living room in Florida, and I might have another one hiding someplace. But it's always good to have a few extras when you have your wall maps. So another fun-filled story right here from the stories of Randy and the collection of Randy and the wonderful world of Randy. And take a last look at the wonderful wall map before we go. And then, oddly enough, I'm just looking down as we talk about things. I guess this will be another story. The Seating Times magnetic sign. I don't know if you know where it's from. I know where it's from. We'll tell you that story another time. Thanks for joining us, folks. I hope you enjoyed the story, and we'll share some more wonderful stories with you next time. Bye now.